Hi, you guys. Welcome back for our daily practice questions. It is day 238, and as always, I like to first start with my introduction and disclaimer before getting started with our questions for today. So, for those of you who are familiar with me, hey y'all. For those of you who are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Dr. Brittany Weinstock, a family nurse practitioner and the founder and CEO of the Nursing Studio. I provide resources, tools, review courses, review videos, review books, digital flashcards, Q banks, one-on-one sessions, and more to assist nurses as well as nurse practitioners with success on their boards as well as in practice. I've been doing this since 2015, assisting nurses and nurse practitioners internationally with exam success. But y'all know my disclaimer and reminder is that we know there's no absolutes in medicine. We treat on a patient by patient basis, and any of the questions that you see here, I have designed and created based on the current guidelines that are being tested on the ANCC as well as AANP exam. Now, any of my videos where I'm teaching on things that we currently do in practice, I will always say that so there's no confusion. So, with that being said, let's get into question number 1 for today. But before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you're not missing any of my videos. And if you would like to gain access to my NP Test Success Toolkit, it is free and linked in the description. My website is also linked in the description and houses all the resources that I do offer. And I also like to mention if you're looking for my business profile that houses all of my information, simply go to Google and search The Nursing Studio, and it'll take you here where you can find my telephone number that you can call or text, the link to my website, as well as testimonials from previous review students. All right, y'all, let's get into the questions. Question number 1 states, which patient would be most appropriate for a low-intensity statin therapy? Is it A, a 72-year-old with ASCVD? Is it B, a 52-year-old diabetic with an LDL of 110? Is it C, a 40-year-old with no comorbidities and an LDL of 120? Or is it D, a 65-year-old with a 10-year ASCVD risk greater than 20%? Take a moment and tell me what you got. All right, so I always recommend reading the stem of the question first, as it allows you to slow down to ensure you're answering what is even being asked of you, right? Here, the stem is the question is the stem, right? And it states which patient would be most appropriate for a low intensity statin therapy. Now, I'm doing this because I want y'all to make sure y'all know how to approach statin therapy and understanding the different levels of low, moderate, and high intensity statins. Now, your best answer is going to be your C, your 40-year-old with no comorbidities and an LDL of 120 that would do best with a low intensity statin, right? Remember, statins address LDL, your bad cholesterol. It lowers that, right? And our low intensity statins, you got to know to what degree these are decreasing your LDL. So your low intensity statins are going to decrease the LDL by less than 30%, right? Moderate intensity will decrease it anywhere from 30 to 49%. And then your high intensity is going to decrease it by 50% or greater, right? So a 72-year-old with ASCVD, they're at increased risk. We don't need low intensity. Their age, and they have ASCVD risk factors. A 52-year-old that's diabetic and the LDL is 110, nope. They're diabetic also, so that's an additional risk factor, right? A 40-year-old, no comorbidities, and the LDL is 120. Remember, LDL, we want less than 100, so it's slightly over that goal. They don't have any other comorbidities. They're not 65 or older. So here we can do a low intensity statin with a 30% reduction, right? To get you at goal. And then, of course, that 65-year-old with a 10-year ASCVD risk greater than 20%, they definitely need to be on like a high intensity, okay? All right, question number 2. Which is an example of a moderate intensity statin regimen? Is it A, atorvastatin 10 milligrams daily? Is it B, rosuvastatin 40 milligrams daily? Is it C, simvastatin 10 milligrams daily? Or is it D, pravastatin 10 milligrams daily? Take a moment and tell me what you got. Tell me what you got, y'all. All right, so again, stem is the question is the stem. Which is an example of a moderate intensity statin regimen? Y'all, and your best answer is A, atorvastatin 10 milligrams. So your moderate intensity statins they can fluctuate from range. Don't just look at the dosage. That rosuvastatin 40 milligrams is a high intensity statin. Your simvastatin 10 milligrams is a low intensity statin. And then your pravastatin 10 milligrams is also your low intensity statin. I have to like process these. But as you go through, take a look at statin intensity charts so that you can help familiarize yourself with which ones fall into which category and based off of the dosages. One of the things I always say, like your atorvastatin and rosuvastatin are the only two that fall under that high intensity statin therapy. And then they have higher dosages for those. Okay, so 40 to 80 for atorvastatin is high intensity. Rosuvastatin is 20 to 40, right? So I always remember those because those are the only two on that side. But start to look at these charts, know these things so that it'll come a little bit easier. Y'all, I can run this off a little bit easier for y'all because y'all know cardiology is my background. I do this so much. But for testing purposes, familiarize yourself with this, but you don't have to like go overboard. All right, question number 3. Which patient is most appropriate for a high intensity statin therapy? Is it A, a 65-year-old with an LDL of 210? Is it B, a 40-year-old with an LDL of 130 and an ASCVD risk of less than 5%? Is it C, a 50-year-old with controlled hypertension and an LDL of 120? Or is it D, a 34-year-old with an LDL of 150? Take a moment and tell me what you got, y'all. All right, so STEM states which patient is most appropriate for a high-intensity statin therapy. And y'all, the best answer is A, a 65-year-old with an LDL of 210. Again, statin therapy in a high intensity statin therapy will reduce that LDL by at least 50% or greater. This is 210. We need you, our goal is less than 100. So we need at least a 50% cut, right? So that's why we would go with a high intensity statin like your atorvastatin or your rosuvastatin, okay? Um, Now, and remember, atorvastatin 40 to 80, rosuvastatin 20 to 40. Now, let's talk about these other ones. B, the ASCVD risk score is less than 5%. So that's, even though this is giving you extra detail, that's not as significant as, if we see an ASCVD risk of 7.5% or greater, we definitely start to put them on medication and adjust the intensity. Now that LDL, there definitely needs to be something done, but you can walk your way through on that. But a high intensity statin is not warranted. If anything, you would go with a low intensity. C, where they have a 50-year-old controlled hypertension and LDL of 120, that can be moderate intensity because the LDL's right here, but that comorbidity, you want to give a little bit of extra coverage. And then lastly, the 34-year-old, just based off of whatever their history is, you can decide what's going to work best for that patient, either a low intensity or a moderate intensity. All right, you guys, I just wanted to give you some examples and give you different scenarios so that you know how to approach your statin therapy and the intensities. I hope you found this helpful. As always, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with whoever you may think may find this beneficial as well. But y'all know what to do. Y'all make sure y'all meet me back here. And if you need any of the resources that I do offer, feel free to reach out to the nursing studio. You can give us a call, shoot us a text message, shoot us an email, or just go directly to my website. It's linked in the bio as well as the description of this video. All right, y'all. Y'all know what to do. Y'all make sure y'all meet me back here. Happy studying. Bye, y'all.